This time on Film Ranker, we are looking at Harry Potter. There have been 8 movies based on the beloved books, as well as 2 spin-offs from the larger Wizarding world, which we are also going to include here. There are very few franchises that can compete in terms of popularity, ticket sales, or continued critical praise. So let's hop aboard the Hogwarts Express and count them down from worst to best. Number 10, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. This is the only one of the Wizarding World movies that I wouldn't happily watch over and over again. It's not terrible, it just doesn't feel like a complete film. It feels like the first half of a full script that was stretched to turn 3 movies into 5. There's some actually pretty great world building and filling in of the backstory, some great performances from the leads, and it is fun having just a little bit more time with everything, but it never quite feels magical. Number 9, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The first Fantastic Beasts film had enormous shoes to fill. It was basically an unwinnable battle, but it came surprisingly close to pulling it off. Yes, it's not Harry Potter, but it is the next best thing, and for fans of the world, it is fascinating to see the American side of things, and Eddie Redmayne's Newt is a pretty terrific guide. Sometimes it feels a smidge mundane, but when it works, like the magical creature's sanctuary inside the briefcase, it really works. Number 8, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. The second Harry Potter film goes all in on the mystery, but unfortunately the mystery's one of the weaker core plots in the series, and the focus is a bit at the expense of the classes and just the general interactions. Kenneth Branagh's Gilderoy Lockhart is fun to watch, and the Tom Riddle backstory is great, but it just falls a little bit flatter than the rest, and Columbus goes a bit too all in on making it a kids movie first. Number 7, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1. It's tough to be the first half of a 2-parter, especially when all the big stuff is in the other half. It was the right choice to split the biggest book into 2 films, and there's certainly some great stuff, like the animation of the 3 brothers and that opening broom chase, but the Deathly Hallows Part 1 does spend a lot of time in mopey tents and gray forests and dank dungeons. It does its job, but it's a little bit of a thankless job. Number 6, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. The 5th film is seen by many as a bit of a mixed bag. The Order of the Phoenix is amazing, as is the introduction of fan favorite Luna, and all of the Dumbledore army stuff is great. But Umbridge is so frustrating. I know she's meant to be awful and unlikable, but she succeeds almost too well, and it feels all too real, to the point that I'm getting actually angry at the screen. That said, there really is some great stuff, including that big final battle at the Ministry and the ultimate showdown between Voldemort and Dumbledore. This film also introduced mainstay director David Yates, who continually does a great job by mostly just staying out of it and let the story do the work. Number 5, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or Sorcerer's Stone if you're American. The original film had sky-high expectations from a legion of fans with a cauldron full of demands. Luckily, Chris Columbus delivered by just sticking to the books, despite pressure from numerous studio execs. The team on the first film pretty much nailed it across the board. Harry looked like Harry, Hagrid looked like Hagrid. Every new reveal, from the train to the other students to Quidditch, did not disappoint, and Hogwarts was every bit as magical as we dreamed. The first film set the tone and built the framework for the rest of the series to succeed. Number 4, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This is the one that I always have the most trouble remembering, but then I watch it and I think, oh yeah, this one's great. The first half is actually one of the sunniest bits of any film in the series. The students go to classes, love is blooming everywhere, hijinks are aplenty, and then we hit that second half and it's one of the hardest left turns in tone of any film I can think of. All of a sudden, we're thrust into Horcruxes and deadly caves, and of course that ending that still kind of shocks me every time I see it. It is one of the few that does an equally good job with both the everyday wizard life and the central adventure. It just doesn't quite mesh those two bits together. Number 3, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The fourth film feels like it's missing a lot, and it is. The book is a lot heftier than number 3, and it has a lot of great stuff in the classes and between the students, and unfortunately, most of that is lost in the movie because the Tri-Wizard Tournament demands so much space. On the plus side, the Tri-Wizard Tournament is awesome. This one really throws us into the larger wizarding world and takes every opportunity to throw as many magical things at us as possible. It also features the first time we see Voldemort in the flesh and the first real major death in the series, both of which hit just as hard as they need to. Number 2, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. The first big change in director was the move the series needed to push it out of the realm of children's movies and into the world of film. Alfonso Cuarón brings a realism and weight to the series that helped move it over a hump that most of us didn't even realize was there. Partly this is due to embracing the darker tone of the Dementors and Azkaban, but also it comes from Cuarón moving much of the film off of the sound stages and bringing in actors like Oldman and David Thewlis that push that level even higher. Plus, all those little bits like the enormity of the staircase or the interconnected portraits add just that little bit of extra magic. Number 1, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. There are very few instances of a beloved series managing to wrap things up in a way that actually pays off the story and satisfies fans. This has got to be right near the top of that list. Other than an exciting trip to Gringotts off the top, the entire film takes place within the framework of the enormous final battle, and everyone gets their chance to shine and to bring their character arc to a satisfying close, especially Neville. The deaths are still impacting no matter how much you know that they're coming. The big scenes are still exciting no matter how many times you've seen them. It ebbs and flows between these huge cannon blasts of battle and quiet moments of contemplation perfectly. If you ever do the marathon of all the movies back to back, this one wakes you up and sends you off to bed feeling satisfied, and that is a huge accomplishment. And that is it. Obviously, I kind of love this world and this series, but let me know which ones are your faves, and maybe also let me know which future series you'd like to see ranked. Also, like and subscribe, and hopefully, I will see you all next time.